Alright, here we are again for a Top of the Pops reaction. And look at these funky opening titles. So this one is an episode dated originally broadcast on the 11th of April 1974. So 49 years ago today. And I'm very pleased to be doing an episode, reacting to an episode from 1974, as this is the penultimate, the 11th of 12 months in the 1970s that I wanted to get covered in the TOTP reaction series. So only one more year from the 70s to go. Do you remember which it is? Your host is the supercilious shithouse himself, Noel Edmonds. Right, this is what we're kicking off with. I don't know if Noel Edmonds announced who this was specifically, as I was calling him a supercilious shithouse over. Oh no, it's the charts, although this will be a song that's in the charts, and I don't know what it is, but I will put the information on that info bar down at the bottom of the screen. So let's have a look at what's in the charts as we cut to some scenes of awkward looking young people from the mid-1970s dancing. Wombles at number 20, Elton John is at 19, Mott the Hoople, wow, that'll be an old one, from Bill Haley at number 17, a reissue there, no doubt, as I don't think Bill Haley was making new music in the 1970s, he might have been, was he even still alive? Don't know. We'll find out, no doubt. Carpenters at 13, New Seekers at 12, the late Olivia Newton-John is at 11, Maud at number 8, and a duet from Diana Ross and Marvin Gaye at number 7. The Glitter Band at number 5 and Slade at 4. Oh, and Gary Glitter himself at 3. Wow. Could be a bit of a glam rock edition, this one. We'll have to wait and see. Limmy and Family Cooking. I've reacted to them before.
Chart was very much to your liking. Jimmy Osmond, of course, rising 10 places. Sunny with her doctor's orders up 9 places. We've got 4 new entries in the chart, the highest of which comes from Mud, and the cat is on the move. Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
Alright, so The Cat is on the Move by Mud. Actually, no, it won't be Tiger Feet, will it? Yeah, it's Tiger Feet. Oh, bloody hell. Or is it? No, it's not. I don't know. You'd think, like, when someone refers to The Cat on the Move and then the band Maud, you would think of Tiger Feet, wouldn't you? But, because Tiger Feet, Tiger, Cat, Feet, Move. But no, I don't think this is Tiger Feet. This is a song called The Cat is on the Move, which, wow, I didn't know Mud was that limited in what they could write songs about. Assuming they even wrote their own songs, I've got a feeling they probably didn't. So we're kicking off with a right glam rock stomper here from Mud. And it's very like Tiger Feet, isn't it? I probably have heard this before, and like in the background somewhere, and probably just assumed this was Tiger Feet because I didn't listen to it properly. That's probably not a good reflection on Maud, but I can't really tell the difference. And I even thought Noel Edmonds was trying to be clever. I mean, let's face it, he does always try and act all superior, but that's just the way he is. I don't like Noel Edmonds, if you hadn't noticed. Anyway. I mean, this is enjoyable enough. It's just very much sort of glam rock 101, isn't it? You know what? If you've heard this, then you've heard pretty much anything else that Mud have done, apart from, of course, Lonely This Christmas, which was basically the lead singer's impersonation of Elvis. Oh, what's the name of the lead singer? Is it Les something? I don't know why I'm worried about it, because any important and interesting information you'll have seen on screen and will be seen on screen throughout the duration of this edition. Wonder if this came before or after Tiger Feet. I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd say after, but not sure. Oh. Yeah, the Elvis influence is creeping in there. I do like Lonely This Christmas. I don't really want to talk about Christmas music here in April. And it's before April that I'm recording this, obviously, but it's still way after Christmas, so... But that was Christmas #1 in... I want to say maybe... Could have been 74, actually. 74 or 76. I did a couple of videos about runners-up to the Christmas #1s between the 70s and the 2000s. And Mud were not a runner-up, they were actually the Christmas #1. I think Greg Lake was a runner-up in their year. Well, this goes on for a bit, doesn't it? You'd think a glam rock single would be like kind of 3 minutes and that's your lot, but oh no, it's fading out now.
In the here kitty department, the cat crept in, and that of course is a new entry from Mud. How's a cat go up the M1? Meow. Oh. Quite right. And this week's number 4 we find Slade. If you're not really satisfied with seeing them here, may I remind you they're starting a tour of the UK almost immediately, and they're starting in Bradford. Would you believe? Slade.
Glamour.
And every day.
It is a bit of a glam rock special. We've got Slade and Every Day. I like Slade, not sort of to any great extent, but you know, My Oh My, which would have been out like 9 years after this, nearly. I love that, one of my all-time favourite singles by anyone. And the follow-up to it, I just think was called Run, Run Away. I like that as well. So this is a ballad, obviously. It's not one I'm massively familiar with. I mean, Slade had loads of top 10 hits, and many of them #1 as well in the 70s. This isn't one that I've heard of it, but I don't think this isn't really ringing any bells for me. But it probably, yeah, it will have done well. It'll be at least top 30, and knowing Slade, this probably got, you know, top 5, maybe even to #1. But it won't be #1 this week because it's on the show too early. Noddy Holder on vocals there. Oh, I always forget Dave's surname. Dave. He's gone. He's gone. If this was a more competent reaction, I'd be like pausing and then reshooting just so I can look things up and not look quite so clueless. But you know, I have to keep a bit of honesty and integrity in these, even though it often makes me look a bit ill-prepared, to say the least. Dave Hill? Is it Dave Hill? Yeah, it's Dave Hill, isn't it? Just comes to me. It's old age. When I can't remember anything about anybody, that's the time to worry. Yeah, this is quite a departure from Slade at this time, I would have thought. You know, it's not really a Come On Feel the Noise or Mama We're All Crazy Now. You know, it's more sort of a slightly anthemic ballad, which My Oh My, which which I've talked about earlier, was, and as I say, I think that's an excellent single. Another one that was a runner-up in Christmas #1 week, or Christmas chart week, I should say. Yeah, I think we're off to a decent start with this edition. Mud and Slade.
Music makers in the finest tradition, and a big thank you to the gentlemen for all the work they've been doing for Radio 1 recently. Their latest single, Sound 4, and Every Day. Mr. Dorset wrote it, and he's right there at the front. He's going to tell us all about a lady who's got, ooh, lovely long legs. She's dressed in black as well. Take it away, Mungo.
Right, it's more glam rock by the sound of it. This is Mungo Jerry. He said take away Mungo. We've got about long legs. Sorry, I think this is Mungo Jerry. Just the way Edmonds announced it threw me a minute. If you want a sort of archetypical 1970s episode of Top of the Pops, I think I've found it right here. You know, with Maud Slade and now this on it, like first three. You know, it just, everything about this, just from the sets to the clothes to the audience, it just reeks 1970s, doesn't it? Peak 1970s. I don't know this, so I don't think I've heard this before. And again, it's alright. I'd never say that I was a glam rock lover by any stretch, but it's that sort of music, it's like, oh yeah, it might sound dated, like 50 years on, but you know, it's decent pop music really, and obviously if you were living through it at the time, which I wasn't, I'm not that old, some bands are better than others, some songs are better than others, and some are more credible, etc. But you know, I think glam rock's a genre that, although I don't think I'd want to be listening to loads of it or exclusively glam rock, because I think I'd get fed up of it too easily. But you know, it's a decent, if of its time and rather dated sound really. No, I've got nothing against this song. I've not disliked anything. I've not disliked this, Maud or Slade, so far. Slade, of course, that was more ballad than your standard jaunty, stomping glam track, but still, they were a glam band for all intents and purposes. Yeah, that were alright. Yeah, it was Mungo Jerry.
The long-legged woman who is dressed in black. Is there anyone you'd like to say hello to?
Oh, blimey.
Good heavens. There's been, in the past, a lot of big double acts in history.
Just, God, you went for him on the lips there.
So, she's put me off. Morecambe and Wise. And
so she'll probably just relieve Jimmy Savile. It wasn't Jimmy Savile on this week. Oh, dear.
Oh, darling.
Right, we've got what is sort of a promo video here. What I was talking over Noel saying what this was, but you'll see it on screen anyway. Bit of a change of pace from the glam rock special that we've had so far. Don't know where this is filmed. Looks like it could be like, I don't know, Ireland maybe. Probably isn't. Could be anywhere really, couldn't it? I wonder if this is a promo video that was shot specially for Top of the Pops, because promo videos, they existed, but in a very sort of limited way, in a limited capacity at this point. Last game of beach football there. So rather than promo videos being made kind of as standard, you know, like, I mean, the Beatles pioneered it in the 60s of filming, like, you know, video clips, them miming to their latest single, and then posting the thing off the Top of the Pops and wherever else, just to save them, you know, showing up on Top of the Pops, because they didn't have time, and, well, they were too big for Top of the Pops after a while, let's be honest. But, people say, oh, it was MTV that kind of spurred on the promo video revolution, and I suppose music videos did get properly big in the early 80s after MTV. They were around before that. I mean, Queen Bohemian Rhapsody from 75 was always the one that was, you know, said to... A lot of people said that was the first sort of commercially widely available promo music video, and I don't know, I think that was a bit debatable really, because like I say, the Beatles, although it was different circumstances, they were doing music videos, you know, a decade or more before Bohemian Rhapsody. But, so whether this is like a Top of the Pops exclusive, I'd imagine it probably was. Alright. Oh, it was Diana Ross and Marvin Gaye. Oh, I didn't recognise them.
And they got all yucky, which leads me rather neatly into a request to the younger viewers of Top of the Pops. Please don't go putting litter all over Wimbledon Common. You're causing terrible problems. I know the Wombles pick up litter, but they can only pick up enough to put in one bowl. That's why they're called the Wombles. And here they are, sound 20.
Oh, God. And to think, some blonde teenager tried to give him a snog about 5 minutes ago. Right, the Wombles. You know what? It'd be quite easy and a little bit self-satisfactory for me to sit here and just slag off the Wombles. Oh, right, a kids band. But the guy behind the Wombles, Mike Batt, he did have some musical chops, you know. And this wasn't like it was a one-hit wonder. I think the Wombles, they probably released numerous albums and at least a handful of singles in the 1970s. And, you know, I know kids would have lapped them up, and, you know, probably some adults as well, maybe in a more furtive, secretive kind of way. This is alright, this. I think I've said this is alright to pretty much everything here. This has been like a alright episode of Top of the Pops, really. It's not my era. I'll never say, oh yeah, I'm an early to mid-70s junkie. You know, this is the sort of music, the sort of pop music that I love. You know my eras, 1990s, mid to late 80s, you know, there's a lot of stuff there that I'm a big fan of. I wasn't even born until over 6 years after this was first broadcast, so, you know, I've got no personal nostalgia for this. I mean, the Wombles were still on telly to an extent when I was growing up, but I think, you know, not as much as they had been. They were repeated probably, but there were other stuff coming on TV, and, well, children's television was more limited then as well. It wasn't like you couldn't get 24 hours worth on one channel like you can now. You know, you got a block of programming maybe mid or late morning, and then another block of programming after school in the afternoons if you were lucky, and then that was it. And then, you know, the 3 or 4 channels, because we only had 4 throughout most of the 80s, and only 3 until 1982. They were, you know, they were closing down, as in stopping transmitting, you know, before midnight most nights. You know, it wasn't wall-to-wall content and entertainment like it is now. You don't know you're born, you youngsters.
The Wombles, and whatever you do, remember you're a Womble. That's Sound 20 this particular week, and I must say, without being rude to them, I'm very relieved that's over, because great Uncle Bulgaria had, well, he threatened to streak through the studio, so, oh dear, we were worried. At this week's number 22, we find the Chi-Lites, and a number entitled...
Homely Girl.
Homely Girl. This is Homely Girl by the Chi-Lites. And the Gurning Lasses, I assume, are the dance troupe. Which not Pants people, the one Legs and Co. Yeah. I do know this song. Not this version, but I know UB40 covered this in. Homely Girl would have been late 80s or very early 90s. I mean, UB40 released a lot of cover versions. I mean, they've done at least, I think, 4 albums just of covers, probably more actually. I wouldn't say this is one of the best dance routines ever seen on Top of the Pops. I mean, I kind of get it. They try to sort of, you know, exaggeratedly mimic the lyrical content here, but it's not really hitting the spot for me. It's a nice enough song. Well, that's a bit of an improvement for obvious reasons. Chi-Lites are a soul band by the sound of it. And of course UB40's cover, however many years later, was obviously a reggae version of the song. Oh no, we're back to this weird dungaree fest now. Strange. It's been a weird one, this one, hasn't it? I think I'd enjoy this even more if it wasn't this crappy Legs and Co. Dance routine. I mean, I prefer him in them funny, fluffy dresses than the dungarees for obvious reasons. Yeah, I've not really got anything else to say about this. Nice song. One I was familiar with, albeit from a different band, in a different form. Don't rate the dance routine, but it is what it is, isn't it?
If you should hear a very big bump tomorrow, it'll be because an anniversary falls this Friday. 20 years ago, on April the 12th, a record company in America produced a record. They all had their fingers crossed, you see. They didn't know whether it would be successful. In fact, it turned out to be rather good. 3 times in the chart. It's this week's number 17, Bill Haley. Rock around.
He is alive!
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5, 6, 7 o'clock.
Right, in the studio is a real rock and roll legend here. Bill Haley and his Comets, Rock Around the Clock. Well, if you've never heard this before, then you're either deaf or you're in a coma. And if you're either of those, how are you even watching me right now? So yeah, I think there was like 1 or 2 rock and roll revivals going on in the 70s, weren't there? I mean, some of those sort of rockabilly, rock and roll revivalist groups, like I'm thinking, you know, Shawaddy Waddy were always leaning towards that area in music, weren't they? They were having big hits in the 70s, but I mean, arguably this is the guy who started it all. even before Elvis.
When the chimes ring 5, 6 and 7, we'll be right in 7.
I'd be interested to know how old he'd be there, like, given it would be nearly 20 years since he first performed that. I always imagine Bill Haley wasn't ever that young, even when he started in the 50s. I don't know why. He just kind of looks a bit more like, you know, someone's dad rather than a true, you know, cool rock and roller, like how Elvis used to look in his heyday. So I don't know. Bill Haley to me there just looks like a kind of middle-aged bloke, really. Which I suppose he was, you know, and nothing wrong with that. So presumably this was a reissue. It's like an anniversary thing. Might have even featured on a film that was coming out in 1974 that was set in the 50s. That seems likely to me. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that particularly, but you can't deny it's an iconic song.
Rock Around the Clock and of course Bill Haley. Now, last Saturday night, about 285 million people were all pinned to their TV sets. No, it wasn't the return of Magic Roundabout starring Diana Dawes. It was in fact the Eurovision Song Contest, of course. And a lot of upsets, and we've got the song that won right here by the Swedish group.
Oh.
It's all about Waterloo. Take it away, ABBA.
Oh dear, am I going to have to cut this? I hope not. I've had a bit of bad luck with ABBA in Top of the Pops reactions, where I've had to cut them, so, or mute them, so. Well, a bit like Rock Around the Clock, really. Does this need an introduction? Does this need me to tell you what it is and, you know, what it, you know, the origins of it? It's Waterloo by ABBA. It's one of their, and let's face it, they had so many big and memorable singles. I mean, this was certainly their international breakthrough as it won Eurovision. Well, it would have been this year, 1974. I'm not, much as I like Eurovision, I'm not brilliant on my years and history. I would have probably put this like a year earlier, but obviously I'd have been wrong. So I don't think this is in the chart. They're just playing this. I imagine it will get in the charts any week now. Not now, as in April 74. Couple of beautiful women there, Agnetha and Annie Fripp. Yeah, it's Waterloo. It's one of their best known. It's one of their most popular. I like it. I like ABBA. I don't like every single thing from ABBA. You know, some of their stuff I think, you know, is just erring on a little too cheesy. But they were a band I did do a proper deep dive into last year. I bought their studio albums box set, and I'm really glad I did because there's some thoroughly good stuff on there that I've never heard before. You know, album tracks and stuff that, you know, I'm really glad that I've heard finally. You know, they're more than just the singles, is what I'm saying, but, you know, they had a lot of big singles, massive singles. Arguably the biggest pop band of the 1970s. In fact, I'm not sure there's really an argument to be had there, even. Can't Whack It, Waterloo by ABBA, great stuff.
That's ABBA meeting their Waterloo, and in case you wonder what ABBA means, it in fact is the initials of the names. There's Alan and Barry and Brian and Alexander. Slightly frivolous sound of the Glitter Band and Angel Face, terminating this edition of Top of the Pops. We hope you'll join us at the same time next week. You will? Great.
Right, so it looks like the #1 song got cut. I can't remember what the #1 song was. But it would have been on the chart, the top 30 rundown at the start, so cast your mind back, or even better, just rewind back there. So we have had a cut in this, which I'm not surprised. I thought we probably would have at some point, just from looking at the length of this episode, and knowing that these editions of Top of the Pops generally lasted, I think, at this point for 40 minutes. Uncut, of course. So, that was your Top of the Pops for the 11th of April, 1974. I've got next month planned. I'm not going to say what it is. You never know. I may have to make last-minute alterations to the year, simply because when I get these uploaded, I never know how many cuts I need to make, and if I have to make too many, then a reaction's not worth publishing. So, but that's not happened yet. And touch wood it won't for this or for indeed any others. But the Glitter Band have played you out. I want to say thank you all for watching this reaction, and please will you all join me next month for my next Top of the Pops reaction video. Cheers everyone. See ya!